So I was pleasantly surprised to learn that the 3 new Equestria Girls episodes became available in English a lot earlier than expected. They had come out several weeks ago with a Polish dub, but considering I've grown so used to the English voice actors over these past several years, I decided to postpone giving these episodes a view until the original cast versions were available. And I figured that I should write up a review of each entry before moving on to the next one, all in the hopes of answering a specific question. Does the Equestria Girls series work better in an 80 to 90 minute film format with a grand set of villains and a bombastic climax each year, or a few 22-minute, more simple slice of life episodes instead? Let's find out with this first entry, Dance Magic. Now, as I've stated before, I'm really not interested in a high school setting. It's always been more of a challenge for me to enjoy the Equestria Girls series because of this one element. But I know that's just a personal preference, and seeing a conflict surrounding a dance video contest is a fair setup, considering the target audience. And even though Rarity is the main focus here, the rest of the characters each have a few moments to stand out. A little bit. These first few minutes in particular feel very much like an exposition dump, talking about Camp Everfree, Canterlot High, Crystal Prep Academy, and even taking the time to speak the full names of every character just so any new viewers won't feel so lost. I know it's a little essential, especially if the MLP staff are hoping to one day turn these new episodes into a regular series, but it's still a little awkward for anyone who's already familiar with the rest of the Equestria Girls films. Besides, Rarity's always been a secondary character in all the previous entries of this series, and putting her in charge of a dance video contest seems like a good fit. Though it did seem a little familiar. And once she starts spouting her idea to the competition, it felt very familiar. Tell me I'm not the only one who immediately thought of Rarity Takes Manhattan when watching this scene. And even the follow-up where she's confronting the competition, who remind her that using her idea now is going to seem like she's copying them. This had me a little worried that the whole idea behind these Equestria Girls episodes might have been just to rehash a lot of the stories we've already seen from the MLP series. Even watching Rarity getting stressed out, it's kind of hard to not, again, make the comparison and wonder whether she's going to go through those same motions. But thankfully, the writers did take the rest of the story in a bit of an unexpected direction. Rather than Rarity coming up with something brand new at the last second, rather than making the competition look irredeemable in their actions, instead we are shown a compromise where neither side could have won the competition without the other. Okay, that actually removes a lot of the worries I had going into this story, so kudos to the writers on the conclusion. As for the dance video itself, it's fair. The music has a more modern twist, the costumes are varied and original, but just like every other entry in the Equestria Girls series, you can't help but feel they're really pushing the buy our toys angle. I know I've seen more creative visuals in the original MLP series, but then again, I do have to appreciate what the animators can come up with. I actually found a lot more enjoyment when Applejack, Rainbow Dash, and especially Pinkie Pie are coming up with their own ideas earlier on. Adding some new locales and even a completely new visual style is just the kind of random humor that I've grown to appreciate in the MLP series. Really, any time they break away from the high school setting, it's a lot easier for me to enjoy the spectacle. But my initial question still remains. Does the Equestria Girls series work better with these shorter and simpler slice-of-life style episodes? Hard to say at this point. On the one hand, I feel there was a lot less filler here when compared to the earlier films. The pacing feels a bit more natural, and thus every scene feels as though it serves a purpose to the plot. On the other hand, I don't think I'm going to remember Dance Magic anywhere near as much as the previous Equestria Girls films. Aside from maybe the cutaway scenes I mentioned earlier, I don't see much of a reason for me to go back and watch it again. But this is only the first entry in the episodic Equestria Girls formula, and there's still 2 more for me to get through. And given the synopses they released several weeks back, I am a bit more interested in what else this series has to offer. In the meantime, though, I'd like to hear about your impressions of dance magic, and just how it compares to everything else we've seen in Equestria Girls thus far. And here's hoping these other episodes don't feel quite as familiar to previous stories. Until next time, I am Dr. Wolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.